Building Employee Motivation from Coaching FM. In business, we usually have operational or financial targets that are central to the economic or strategic performance of the organisation. Complete certain projects, finalise so many transactions, etc. It therefore seems intuitive that we should use these targets as the focus, or at least the starting point, in our performance goal setting. And the drivers in place to encourage achievement of these kinds of goals often involve financial rewards such as bonuses and fees earned, or recognition such as appraisals, recommendations and the like. There may also be negative drivers, avoidance of criticism or performance management issues, and even the need to make sure that a job is not lost. So these operational objectives are therefore usually underpinned by a very traditional carrot and stick extrinsic reward system. This kind of reward system sets up motivators for performance that are external to the task and to the person undertaking the task. For example, if you generate so much revenue, then your bonus will be above a certain level. Or, if you do not meet the deadline for this transaction, then your future prospects in the firm are diminished. There is, however, one very significant problem with extrinsic reward systems, and that is that in most cases, extrinsic rewards are not actually very motivating at all, and extrinsic motivation has been shown to be substantially less effective as a driver of performance than its counterpart, intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is the kind of motivation we experience when the challenge, joy or satisfaction we feel in accomplishing a task offers its own reward. And what's more, extrinsic rewards do not merely fail to motivate, they bring about a negative effect. They actively demotivate. Take a look at the conclusion that leading motivation scholar L Deci and his colleagues came to after an exhaustive review of 128 studies which examined the effects of extrinsic rewards on intrinsic motivation. Tangible rewards, they found, tend to have a substantially negative effect on intrinsic motivation and undermine people taking responsibility for motivating or regulating themselves. And management scientists at the London School of Economics analysed 51 studies relating to financial incentives in the field of employment. They found overwhelming evidence that performance-related pay, an extrinsic motivator, can result in a negative impact on overall performance, in particular by negatively affecting an employee's natural inclination to complete a task. They also concluded that not only do financial incentives reduce intrinsic motivation, they may also, worryingly, diminish ethical or other reasons for complying with workplace social norms such as fairness. So what's the alternative? What kinds of motivations are likely to foster positive performance and higher levels of workplace satisfaction? The answer, according to Deci and his colleague Richard Ryan, lies in their self-determination theory, or SDT. SDT holds that as humans we have innate psychological needs: competence, autonomy and relatedness. When these needs are fulfilled, we are productive, motivated, satisfied and happy. If these needs are not met, our motivation, happiness and productivity diminish. The kind of motivation generated by fulfillment of these needs is, of course, intrinsic motivation, the motivation that arises due to an internally held desire to complete the task. So let's look at each of these needs more closely. First, autonomy. This is the need to be engaged in activities that we value and that are undertaken with a freedom of choice. Next, competence. This is the need to use our skills and our abilities, our mastery, in support of achieving those valued outcomes. Finally, relatedness is the need to feel close and connected to other people. You can probably recall for yourself times when these three elements have come together in what you were doing, whether it was within the workplace or not. And if you can probably testify to the empowering effect of having these needs met. You may also have experienced the numbing effect that arises when the opposite happens. when, for example, we're denied control over the work we do or how it should be done. In those cases, we quickly become disengaged and lose motivation. Therefore, if, as managers and leaders, we harness these aspects of self-determination theory, we can create intrinsic employee motivation and the conditions for staff growth and development. We can do this through approaches that directly support autonomy, relatedness, and competence. For example, we can adopt a person-centered coaching style, relatedness. We can encourage the use of strengths, competence, and we can promote autonomy by encouraging values-based ownership and responsibility in relation to the work that team members are doing. You can read more now at coachingfm/employee-motivation.